An alarming new report just released by the UN that says roughly 1 million species are on the verge of extinction, more than any other time in recorded history. And as CNN's Bill Weir reports, experts warn it will have grave impacts on humans as well.
It's not just the howling lemurs of Madagascar that could disappear forever. Not just the cute kiwis in New Zealand. It could be all the wild tigers in India and all the lions in Africa. The bees and butterflies that pollinate billions of dollars worth of crops every year. And the fish stocks that feed billions of people every day. According to a sweeping new study, there are now 1 million species on the brink of extinction, many of them doomed to blink out in coming decades. Everything from plants and corals to creatures.
Mother Nature is under threat from human activity as never before. More species are now threatened with extinction than at any other point in human history. That grim assessment comes from a sweeping new report issued by a panel of experts convened by the United Nations. Among its findings, nearly a quarter of plant and animal species are threatened, many within decades. That includes more than 40% of amphibian species and more than a third of marine mammals. Much of this is caused by human activity, farming and fishing and mining, as well as the use of fossil fuels that contribute to pollution and climate change. It's led to forests being cut down and agricultural land being degraded, making large parts of the world less able to grow food. The report says that more than a third of fish stocks are being pulled out of the ocean.
Because it's so ferocious, it has become something of a medicine for a lot of folks in China for traditional Chinese medicine. That they think that all the elements that make the tiger what it is can also be used to treat human ailments. And the other factor of this is because it's become something of a status symbol, that if you are wealthy enough, you can actually wear tiger on you. It's a luxury item. So this has created a circumstance where people want it for both medicine and also just to show off their wealth.
This geological survey says the state of Louisiana is losing a football field worth of land every hour. According to scientists, the three main factors driving this erosion are sea level rise, reduced sediment flow from the Mississippi River, and sinking land. And from 1932 to 2010, Louisiana lost 1,900 square miles, an area the size of Delaware.
Told you yesterday, about 1 million species of animals and plants around the world are now at risk of extinction, in part due to pollution and overfishing. A new United Nations report says nature is essential for our existence and a good quality of life, but points to a stark warning. Humans are transforming the planet's natural habitat at an unprecedented rate.
A troubling sight in Galveston, dozens of migratory birds found dead on East Beach. Here's a look at some of those pictures. Island officials tell us this unfortunately happens every year. These are birds that become exhausted while migrating and just don't make it. It's always so sad to witness.
The waters of the West Coast hold many mysteries. The secrets of the plants and animals that live out of sight beneath the waves.
Sad.
And this weekend, one of them,
It's a shame.
revealed itself.
Well, I believe this is a gray whale.
The whale washed up at Harborview Park in Everett, the 13th gray whale found dead in Washington this year.
Oh, 13. Well, that's 13 too many.
Tonight, a mystery in Galveston. Hundreds of dead fish, sea turtles, sharks, and dolphins washed ashore.
Yeah, and the question so many of you are asking us, why is this happening? Some fear the chemical runoff from the ITC fires might be to blame. Our Matt Doherty is on the island tonight looking into this, and we want to warn you, some of the images we're about to show you are disturbing.
It's too early to say for certain what is causing all of the deaths, but lots of people say this is unusual. The Galveston Daily News is reporting volunteers have found hundreds of dead fish, about 100 dead birds, dead sea turtles, and dead dolphins. The area they've washed ashore is from 25th Street near the Pleasure Pier down to East Beach. We spoke with one woman who lives in San Leon today who says she found a dead dolphin yesterday.
I am concerned it might be from some of that wash off from the ITC fire that happened. We were actually concerned.
The Virgin Islands attract visitors from all over the world. But below the surface of these turquoise waters, a crisis is unfolding. A crisis being witnessed at first hand by the local scuba divers. The incredible diversity of sea life here is dependent on the coral reef. But the reef is under threat like never before. It's becoming more prone to disease and eventual death.
After the hurricanes especially, we saw a lot of death of soft corals, which is unusual, a lot of sediment on hard corals, which also causes death, and then just basically the sediment being stirred up doesn't help either.
And here you can see the white on this coral is not bleaching, it's actually a coral that's gotten diseased and lost its tissue.
Marine biologists believe climate change is responsible. They're trying to find ways to reverse its effects.
The stakes are very high. Without coral reefs, the economy of the Virgin Islands would not be very productive because tourism depends on beautiful coastal environments, and those coastal environments depend directly on coral reefs. The stakes are very high for biodiversity in the tropics in general. Without coral reefs, they are the rainforests of the sea. So what happens when you lose the rainforests?
The island's congresswoman says climate change is affecting not just the oceans, but the entire islands.
The number of hurricanes, then droughts that we have has been increasing. We recognize that we're going through a drought season again here. They weren't so prevalent and so consecutive in the past as they are now.
North Korea is grappling with the effect of droughts and heat waves. Many irrigation canals have dried up, leaving farmers with limited options to water their crops.
The assessment teams are back from the field. They have spoken to households, farmers, local officials. They have visited nurseries. What is clear to us is that we are very concerned with the situation of food security and nutrition in North Korea.
The government says most of its population depends on its public distribution system, which provides stipends of basic food items such as rice, barley, and corn.